Card 50. For this problem, you need to know how to work with advanced ratio problems. This is a very tough problem, and if you haven't dealt a lot with ratios, then at least watch this video and get the process down of how we deal when we're faced with a ratio, how we set it up, how we write it out. So try to get the technique down, and if you're still having trouble, then definitely ask your teacher for a quick lesson on ratios. So like I said, this is a tough problem. So we have a tomato plant and a pepper plant. So I'm going to try to write everything out because this can get tricky. But let's write out our information. So we know that they have a ratio of 11 to 10. Tomato to pepper, 11 to 10. And when they're in a ratio, that means that if the ratio is 11 to 10, then that means the tomato is 11 times some number. That's its height. And the pepper is 10 times that same number. Okay, so that's how ratios work. It means that it's the ratio times some number, and you don't necessarily know what the number is. And you really just kind of want to memorize this method because this is tough and it might not make perfect sense to you, but it's just a method that you need to memorize. Like, for example, say x equals 1, then the tomato plant is 11 inches, the pepper plant is 10 inches. If x equals 2, it's 22 to 20, and it kind of goes on like that. And that's just how ratios work. So we want to write out a ratio as 11x and 10x and make sure that they're the same variable. Now, a farmer cuts 3 inches off the top of the tomato plant. So we're subtracting 3 inches from this height, and the pepper plant grows 1 inch. So we're going to add 1 on that side. So today, the tomato plant is 11x minus 3, and the pepper plant is 10x plus 1. So I'll write now 11x minus 3 and 10x plus 1. Now, we also know that now the tomato plant, this, is 8 inches taller than this, the pepper plant. Let's write an equation for that. 11x minus 3 is 8 plus 10x plus 1. So do you see what I did there? If the tomato plant is now 8 inches taller than the pepper plant, then that means the tomato height equals the pepper plant plus 8 inches. All right? And now we really have a long equation, and it's a little bit confusing, but it's one we can solve, which is the most important thing. So we're going to be able to solve for x since there's only one variable here. 11x minus 3 equals 8 plus, so we're just adding so we can get rid of those parentheses. And let's solve. 11x minus 3 equals, so we have a 10x, 8 plus 1 goes together to be 9. Let's subtract away the 10x. 11x minus 10x is x, minus 3 goes down, equals 9, plus 3, x equals 12. And now, our question is, how tall is the tomato plant now? So make sure you don't just put down 12, because that doesn't really mean anything. That's just x. But the tomato plant now is 11x minus 3. So 11x minus 3. Tom for tomato. So 11 times x, which is 12, minus 3. 11 times 12, again, you should know your up to your 12 times 12 times table. So 11 times 12 is 132. And then subtract the 3, and we get 129. So the tomato plant is now 129 inches.